Hi everyone. My name is Chloe. I currently work at PIM, the Conscious Investors Community, where I help investors moving their capital towards environmental and social causes. On the side, I am also very much passionate about food. I see food as being a universal language that allows us to connect to others because this is something we all share. I'm super happy indeed to have Edwin Sander with us today. Edwin is a chef at the morning breakfast, where he tries to help others in connecting to themselves and to others, with food being the tool to achieve this mission. Um, Today, we will try to tap into what is the vision that he have on how can we tap into our confidence and sense of self in order to be present for others and progressing also our impact mission. Um, I would like to continue achieving the impact from home mission, which is to connect to others, but from home. So I would really like to raise everyone the curiosity, questions that you can put in the chat. And without further ado, I would like to say I hope we get this 1 hour together, feeling joy and excitement. And with that, I would like to give the floor to Edwin.
Mm. Thank you, Chloe. Thank you for inviting me. I feel very excited to be here and to connect with all of you. Let me introduce myself. I live now in Amsterdam for 15 years, and like 5 years ago, I created the morning breakfast with the mission to promote closeness and what good can come from recognizing one another across a common table. And at the moment, the morning exists out of two pillars, the morning breakfast and the morning circle. And both have the same mission to remember who we in essence are. A little bit of background story about why I created the morning breakfast is a few years ago, I came to a point in my life where I was professionally successful, and I was making a lot of money, but that started to feel very stressful. I was constantly had the urge to going outwardly and ignoring my inner calling. So at that point, and that was about like 5 years ago, I started asking myself the question, what do I need now to feel my heart more? So from that place, I can create more of a fulfilling life, right? So when I ask myself that question, what do I need more to feel my heart more? Like memories of the past of when I was a child came to the forefront of my head. And and in those memories, I went on Sunday morning to church to my grandpa and grandma, and you have to imagine that I'm half Dutch, half Indonesian, so we always went to to the Indonesian part, and my grandpa was leading the church as a pastor. And after the church, we went on Sunday morning to their house. And my grandma always cooked. My mother is from a family of 10, and they all had children. So you can imagine we all were there with 30 people on one big long table, full of food, and enjoying each other while we're having food. And before eating, we had always a moment of connection and or gratitude for the food that we had. So food for us was always, besides a social thing, also a moment of connection. So when I had that in my mind, I started to think of how can I create that own idea or like vision, what I experienced as a child into my own life. So from that place, the morning breakfast came in existence. So now I create monthly gatherings where I host and cook for over between 50 and 100 people, a 3-course breakfast to connect people with themselves, but also with other people. And we talk about different topics about, for example, the farm of the future was the last one. Farm of the future was all about regenerative farming and how can we change our food system and come up with new ideas. So this is a bit the background of the morning breakfast and how this experience as a child came into existence in my own life now. Yeah, so this is a little introduction about the morning breakfast and the morning circle.
I know that you have a very special video to share to us. So we're gonna actually put the video link in the chat so that if the connection is not working properly for you, you can watch it on your own. But I would like to invite you, Edwin, to maybe share it.
Yeah, it's also good to say on this video, this was the last event, and that was, I think, now exactly 1 year ago. And this is at the farm at our farmer, Andres Jara. And he has the same vision I have about food, about being social with ourselves and with other people. And I created this event together with Shanti. Shanti is my girlfriend, my soulmate, and Andres together. So you have a bit of information on what the video is all about. So I would share it with everybody. Let me see. Oh, that's weird. Het is nu niet hier. Kan je misschien even helpen? 1 second. Het staat dus nu niet hier tussen.
En waar is het? Je hebt hem nog niet openstaan. En als je video inklikt, komt hij vanzelf, omdat hij in de geschiedenis staat. Ja, hier. En dan kan je terug naar.
Oké. Thank you for waiting. Click.
All good.
Food connects us to the land. It connects us to other humans, to life, because if we don't eat, we die. It connects us with our identity, with rituals, and with nature. It connects us to everything around us. Yet, when we put it inside of us, it becomes us. In my life as a chef, I focus on the reason why we nurture ourselves with food. For me, that's about healing, energy, and fulfillment. This edition is about the farm of the future. And today's morning breakfast takes place where most of our vegetables, fruits, herbs, and flowers come from.
This is my farm. 2 years ago, I came from Italy to Amsterdam. The city called me, and I accepted the call. I love farming because this way I know how my food is grown, where it's coming from, and what I love of being a farmer and a cook is that I can have a better understanding on the process of growing, harvesting, and transforming food. At the Stadsgrondboer, we grow food for our community. We are very conscious about keeping our soil fertile and healthy, using compost, manures, and all of nature's ingenious ways not to only keep, but actually improve the quality of our soil.
Mother, I feel you under my feet. Mother, I hear your heartbeat. Mother, I feel you under my feet. Mother, I hear your heartbeat. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, ya, hey ya, hey ya, ho. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, ho. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, ya, hey ya, hey ya, ho. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, ho.
I feel that we are losing a connection with where our food is coming from. And I would like to help people to reconnect with it. I want to teach the community about regenerative farming, seasonality, and local food choices, so together we can have a bigger and greater impact.
Madre, te siento bajo mis pies. Madre, yo escucho tu corazón. Madre, te siento bajo mis pies. Madre, yo escucho tu corazón.
With the morning, our central task is to promote closeness and what good can come from recognizing one another across a common table. No filters, no screens, just the honesty that comes from face-to-face communication. We sit together to celebrate human connection while enjoying a delicious meal prepared from the very ground we stand on at Andra's farm.
Thank you, Edwin. So nice. I think it gives quite
You're
a
welcome.
sense of what it could be. And with that, I would maybe stop sharing your screen.
Ja. Hoe doen we dat? Inshare?
Oh, give thanks unto the Lord, for he is good, for his mercy endureth forever. That's
With that, I would like to invite Chenti. Chenti is the partner, love and work partner of Edwin. Like you said at the beginning, also his soulmate. And I think when I hear how do they balance each other, Edwin is more of the doer, and Chenti is more of a, I would say, a thinker. And she used her energy in, I would say, trying to understand others' strengths and lift that energy in others. So she will guide us for the next couple of minutes to do a little mindful exercise. And the reason why I think it would be a great way to do it is I think when we are purpose-led professional, we sometimes very much use our brain to use our intellectual look for information and knowledge. But the thing is that there's a connection that happens between our heart and in the mind. And for us to be able to get inspired, our heart has a lot of energy to give, to be transferred here and look for aspiration and yeah, look for that balance. So without further ado, Chenti, please.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Nice to see you. Nice to meet you. My name is Shanti, or actually it's Chantal. You may have seen me in the little movie just now. Yeah, and as Chloe just said, I will be guiding you through just a short exercise to come into this moment. And it gives a little taste of what we do at the morning breakfast and the morning circle, but then squeezed in just a few minutes. So for this, I think it's good to check if all your if you are all muted, so you will only hear me. And I don't know, maybe you have still a door open or other people around. I think some. Okay, dat doen zij. Okay, so make sure that you are in a room where you won't be disturbed for the next 5 minutes. What can also be nice is to have a pen and a paper near you. So after these 5 minutes, you can write just a few words down. So I will give you just a moment to grab a pen and grab a paper. Don't worry too much about the size of the paper. It can just be a little note. And then if you're ready, whether you're sitting down on a chair or on a bed or on a cushion, making sure that you find a nice, comfortable seat. It's also perfectly fine to shut off your camera for a moment if you feel more comfortable with that, or turn the camera down a bit. That's it. Okay. So if you feel comfortable, you can now close your eyes and take a moment to come and find your center. Maybe you hear still some sounds around you from traffic or birds, nature. See if you can bring your awareness more towards your center and your own personal sounds. The movement of your breath, connecting to each inhalation. And following your breath, noticing the belly rising up on an inhalation. And see how the belly drops back in on an exhalation. And see if you can stay with that sound of your breath and that movement of your belly. Maybe your breath is still a little bit high in the chest or a bit lower in the lower belly. You can just notice. You don't have to change anything. Just stay there, and from there, bringing your full awareness to the soles of your feet. Whether they are touching the floor or maybe you're seated cross-legged. Bring your full awareness to the soles of your feet. And see if you can really feel the skin of the soles. Can you notice something tingling or a pulsation? And scan each and every single toe, starting with the big toes up towards the smaller toes. Now bringing your awareness up to the ankles. And relax your ankles, your feet. Bring your awareness up to the calf muscles, the lower legs. Letting go any form of tension that's still there. Up towards the knees, the back of the knees, the upper legs, the thighs. Let go and sink into your seat. Maybe there's a point where you get a bit distracted. If that's so, just come back to my voice, to your breath. Now bringing the attention more up through the legs towards the buttocks, your seat. Noticing how you are sitting. Really feel the chair or the floor beneath you. Your lower belly, your lower back. Letting go any form of tension here. Up towards the middle of the belly, the middle of the back, and the chest, the shoulders, the upper back, and from the shoulders down the arms, the upper arms, your elbows, and the lower arms. Bringing the awareness towards the wrists and your hands. Feel every single finger. Now back to the shoulders, the neck, and your jaw. Soften your jaw. Soften your tongue even. Your cheeks. The back of your head, the sides of your head. Softening the eyebrows. Really soften all the muscles in your face, your forehead, until you reach the crown of your head. Now see if you can bring your full awareness into your whole body at once. Now bringing both hands onto your lower belly. Connecting to the lower belly. Asking yourself the question, how do I feel right now? Maybe one emotion comes up or one word. Maybe several words, but just pick one that resonates most with you. Now asking yourself one other question, which is, what do I wish to welcome today into my life? What is my intention of this morning and of this upcoming 45 minutes, half an hour? It can be exploration, learning, or just being aware and conscious, whatever comes up. What is my intention of this morning, this afternoon? Now bowing your head a little bit towards the chest. And from there, slowly fluttering the eyes back open. And for the ones who have pen and paper with them, this can be a nice moment to write just one or two words down which just came up while you were asking yourself the question. How do I feel right now? And what's my intention of this day? Whenever you write down your intention or speak it out through your voice, you immediately give some extra power to it. So it can be really helpful to write it down and see if you can stay connected to your intention. That was it for now. Thank you.
Thank you, Chanty.
You're welcome.
So nice. So nice.
I will hand over back the microphone to Edwin now.
I wrote on my paper, my intentions right now is to feel presence and joy. So I hope I can maybe spread it or you can receive it. I don't know, whatever you feel comfortable with it. But going forward, because at the end it's also a moment where we can also learn from each other. So I would like to kind of know here, Edwin, because you tapped a little bit into your past, but I would like to know, which experience did you learn most and how did they make you grow and knowing yourself better?
Yeah, good one. Yeah, so as I mentioned before, the moment where I was professionally and financially very successful, that all started to feel very stressful. Before that, I had another business, and I worked as a chef in different Michelin star restaurants. And the reason for me to working in those restaurants was to develop a skill that I can always have with me, and is always needed in the world. It doesn't matter where you are or wherever you live, there's always food to be made, right? So I invested a lot of time, a lot of years, and a lot of energy in that. But also with the idea of maybe in the future I become an executive chef somewhere in Asia in a big hotel, and then I will run a couple of restaurants. But after working 8 years in those restaurants, I experienced, hey, there's more than only working in life, because you have to imagine that working in restaurants like that, you have work days between 14 and 16 hours per day, 5-6 days a week. So it's really an investment to do so. And you don't have to do it for the salary, because the salary is also very low. So for me, it was an investment. And after I turned 23, I was thinking of like how, what is more to explore than only working? Because I didn't have a social life, I didn't saw my family, relationships broke up, all this kind of stuff. So I started realizing like, hey, maybe there's more than only working, and and achieving the goals to where my ego is more in charge. So I turned 23, turned 24, and then I started my own business, Food Creative, with the mission to bring high quality food to more mainstream people, or mainstream people, just like the masses of the people, not only like a handful of people that earning a lot of money and are able to pay like 300 or 400 euros for a meal in those restaurants. So I was always surrounding myself with very good, high quality food. And I wanted to bring that to a bigger audience. So in 2011, I started, right after the recession in 2008, I started Food Creative. And with Food Creative, I did pop-up restaurants. So back then, the whole pop-up scene popped it up in Amsterdam. And those were spaces where we just built a little restaurant for 2-3 days, and then we left. It was a very creative period in my life, and a lot of exploring. I did that for a couple of years, and then from there I was also a product developer for big companies to bring more healthy food into the shelves of stores. So I developed different products. And after that, I also set up different restaurants in Amsterdam, just to make somehow more impact on our behavior on food. So I worked a lot, I explored a lot, I experimented a lot. And after that, I learned so much from that I was constantly focused outwardly. So what do I get from this? So money, right? Or earning a living, instead of how can I be of service to other people? And in being service of other people, I received in the act of giving. So now I realize, like, okay, this is how it works. So in order to feel fulfilled, to fill my own cup, I have to do something that I feel pleasant and joy in, right? So that's why I started to think of the question, how do I feel my heart more? And from that, the morning breakfast came to in existence. And I tell this story in a very, like, in a nutshell. It's obviously a longer story, but this is the message that I learned. You have to follow your passion. You have to follow your calling in order to feel fulfilled, feel fulfilled. And then you are so energized and inspired to give and being of service to others. So yeah, this is the biggest learning part, like what I learned in the, let's say, the last 10, 12 years.
Thank you so much. I very much like that. Yeah, it starts with how did you start it and getting the skills that you think are necessary.
Yeah.
Then looking outwardly, what are the trends currently there that are popping up? Then thinking like there's more to this. And I think this brings me kind of, because you started to look outwardly. So I would like to also know, what trends did you notice in your area of work, and how did you implement them at the morning breakfast?
Yeah. So when you first go on the part of going inwardly, you are making small adjustments into your own life. Because to me, everything what reflects is the outside world is a reflection of my inside world. So how can I create a better world or a better society? It starts with me, right? So going inwardly, what can I do to change or to make a difference in my own life, in my personal life? So for me, it started to do exercises, to buy better food, because worked in those Michelin star restaurants. That doesn't mean that I eat every day high quality, lobster, truffle, and that kind of stuff. No, I was often find myself in a pizzeria or in a snack bar, all this kind of stuff, because I was always surrounded by this high quality food. So I wanted to have fast and, easy, comfortable food. So you take these little baby steps. First to become vegetarian, you exercise, then you go into a more plant-based diet, then you go a little bit on the spiritual path, and then you also create an environment where you have family, friends around you that are also a vibrational match to you. And that really helps to develop a more more how you say that, to a more sustainable world, or to a more sustainable life. So I used all these trends to improve myself, and then from that space I can create, right? So if I'm in a state of compassion, love, creation, abundance, when I'm in that state, I can also create from that state. Because you cannot create from a state of abundance, lack, right? You have to be in that state of lack in order to create lack. So I always put myself in the state of blissfulness, love, compassion, creation, so I can create from that. Emotion or frequency, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, so this is how I create in the morning. So first, it's very much on my personal life. and then I implement it in the morning. So I'm my own experiment.
I think it's nice, like you're looking into what you would need to see how you can tap it into the outside.
Yeah.
So I think it's kind of also very much reflecting what you do at the morning too. But at the same time, I want to tap into kind of the fears, because I remember you expressed also that. And I would like to know, what do you think is the most, what is it that makes it so difficult to change the food system?
Yeah. It's actually a very simple answer to that question, because it makes it very difficult, because as human beings, we didn't make the decision that we really want to change. So what we do, in what I see and what I did myself, is we constantly projecting it to other companies, people, always outwardly, but never looking inwardly. So before we make that decision, the decision to, okay, I want to change, then you start the journey of change, right? So change will also be reflected in your outer world. So the reason why it's so difficult to change the food system is we first have to change ourselves. And in order to change ourselves, we have to become more aware of what is blocking us, and have the courage and the willingness to change that block, or to remove the block. And mostly is energy wise, because everything starts, I see everything is in a perspective of energy. So everything, that's why I'm, for example, put myself first in the energy state of love, for example. So I create from that place. So to me, it's a very simple solution. We have to change ourselves. We cannot point to other companies, not even the government or to other people. It's us we have to change. So how can you make a change? By starting with your personal life. How can I eat better? How can I move better? How can I separate my garbage? Small things. It starts always there, like very small things. And then from there, if you go on that path, it's always making baby steps, because what you're doing now is you're making yourself whole again. And in the process of making you whole again, like healing yourself, you never want to go back to the separation of yourself, because now you're experiencing all these nice feelings of doing all this work for yourself. So now you're filling up your own cup. And if you are so full, you can inspire other people, because this action is backed up by inspiration from within. So that's why is Shanti. That's the reason why Shanti and I doing this work, is we give people tools and suggestions and experiences where we invite them to be themselves. So remove all the conditions, all the blockages, all the belief systems, and what remains is yourself. And the goal is to do yourself. And then from there, we can create like a more caring, more beautiful, more loving environment, because there are no problems into the food system. Behind this food system are people. So these people need to change. And with these people, I mean myself, not other people, me, myself. And you do you, and you do you, and you do you. Yeah. So that's, to me, that's leadership, taking responsibility for your own emotions, the ability to respond from within.
I think it's
very difficult. I'm explaining it very easy, but this takes a whole lifetime, you know. I'm also on this path, and I'm still learning every day. You know, I have these blockages, I have these certain beliefs, I have these conditions. It's a journey. it's a practice. It's a daily practice.
Yeah, I think I very much I agree with you. It's like very much for us to at least inspire others, the energy needs to come from within so that we can influence the outside. And like you say, it's people are behind it. And we do you, and I do me too.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think it's also because it does also, looking inwardly must also bring some type of happiness. And I think I'm also raising question from the chat now, because I really like this question and say, do you get more fulfilled in the morning or maybe another time of the day? Then why the morning?
Yeah. Well, it actually doesn't matter which time of the day, but to me, I choose the morning because it was a very intuitive decision. And suddenly the name popped up within me. I didn't even think about it. It was just, the name was there. And as I see it, the name, you can, first of all, when we start in the morning doing our own morning ritual. So for example, the ritual that Shanti and I do is the first 3 hours when we wake up is for us, for nobody else. So we spend time on ourselves, doing meditation, eating very good breakfast, having nice talks to each other. And then we go outwardly into the world, doing our work, having appointments and all that kind of stuff. But first we spend time on ourselves. And when we spend time on ourselves in the beginning of the day, it influences the rest of our day. So we start with inspiration. And inspiration for us is having good breakfast, having a good meditation, having a good talk to each other, like, hey, how do you feel? Where are you at the moment? Maybe a little movement. Just being our completely selves. And then we feel very inspired to go outwardly. And then, doing ourselves. And then by doing ourselves, we inspire other people. So we don't have to play a role or something.
I think for me, the first thing that I think about in the morning is my breakfast. Like, it's probably the things that excites me the most. Actually, my roommate is in the room too, and I think she will probably say, when she looks in my breakfast, she will be like, oh my God, this looks so good. And that kind of excites me also, to spend that time eating in the morning. I very much agree. I can also see that this type of experiences is probably needed across further boundaries than Amsterdam, because currently you've been able to host that into person, because this is where we can connect ourselves. But will you maybe include the online session to those that live far?
During like the COVID story and situation, and like there was in the last 1.5 year, Shanti and I decided to have online circle sessions. So where we do, where you just had a little taste of it. We do a meditation exercise. We drink cacao, because for us, cacao is a tool to bring yourself centered and from out of your head into your heart. So you can be in that state of blissfulness, and then, you can create into your day. So we're doing that online. And besides that, we, every 2 weeks, we now organizing a circle for like a small group of people, 10 people. So everybody has a lot of space for themselves to go inwardly, because it's a very sensitive and vulnerable experience for people. So.
And I can also see in the comment that reflecting more about why in the morning. Someone said that in the Vedic science, and I guess Shanti maybe knows maybe more about it, that 1 hour and a half before sunrise is considered as the creator's time, which is the most suitable for spiritual activity. It's called Brahma Muhurat. We have very on top people in the audience that knows about it.
Well, I can ask Shanti, and maybe she can like elaborate a bit more on that. So the question is this one.
Actually, in Vedic sciences, yoga 1.5 hours before sunrise is considered as the creator's time. Yeah, most suitable for spiritual activities. It's called Brahma Muhurta. Yeah, Katarina, thank you for this comment. That's actually something we hear a lot in the yogic tradition. The early morning, it has to do with the vibrational frequency of the society of the earth. So before sunrise, which is the early morning, there is the frequency is in such a vibration that it's relatively easier to tap into your meditative state. So let's say if you think about frequencies as brain waves, maybe you've heard of it, that we have different brain waves, the alpha, beta, gamma, delta. As a human being, the gap is smaller to go to your also your delta state, which is close to the sleeping state, but which is a meditative state. So that's why in yoga they say before sunrise is a good one. I have to say, well, if you go up before sunrise now, then it would be 3 a.m. We don't do that. But yeah, go for it. If you like to try it, give it a try. Yeah.
And maybe I think you mentioned the cacao is an important part. Why is that so?
Well, cacao, I have here a block. It's wrapped in plastic, but it's just pure unprocessed cacao from the Theobromama plant, which comes from Guatemala, from the highlands. And this ingredient, it's really different than the chocolate we buy in supermarkets. But maybe you guys know, whenever you buy chocolate, it already gives you like this nice feeling, right? Like, yeah, let's grab a piece of chocolate, because it's known for its properties of feeling good. But cacao is so concentrated that it affects the neurotransmitters also in the brain. So oxytocin, dopamine, endorphin, and also the active ingredient theobromine affects you in such a way that you also physically, but also on an emotional level and energetic level, you really open your heart. And we, just as Edwin just mentioned, we tend to be a lot in our heads, and this brain-heart connection can be a bit lost at times. So going down from the mind towards the heart, and cacao can be a really good tool for that. And traditionally in those tribes, it's also seen as a medicine, like a plant medicine, which can help you. Yeah.
I think it makes sense then why we also call it foodgasm, that we have some food that also raise a lot of senses in us. So I very much love it. Very much love it.
Yeah. And also about this, the other question of Katarina, and about the meditation we just talked about, it has this ability to get you more centered, right, to your inner signal. So also in combination with meditation or with your own practice, it can be different for anyone. Maybe it's a bit of yoga, but it can help you to make your antenna from outwardly a bit more inwardly. And so yeah, for us and for me personally, it has helped a lot. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So Katarina is also saying that it has caffeine, but I guess this is also about like how much do you get into.
Yeah, I can talk a lot about cacao. I don't know if this is the good stage for that, but in short, it has a similar, it does have a small amount of caffeine, but it's completely different than coffee, for example. Coffee gives you this high kick, high energy, and cacao is more, it gives you a warm energy that keeps you more in a, like this high blissful state for a longer period of time. That's a super short explanation I can give. Yeah.
So guys, instead of coffee, You know what to do then.
Yeah. And also, I don't know if you found his or our website already. We're open for orders and anything. So, and also open for more questions every moment. Yeah.
Lovely, lovely. I think I would, because since we get into that, because I really see also how you're tapping into our sense of human being also, and also what we insert in ourselves. What example do you use at the morning breakfast that contributes to a healthier food system and at the same time a better society?
Yeah. Yeah, what do I give the people to a more so for us it starts all with the people within themselves. So what we create is like we give them tools like meditation, like sound, there's live music, there's singing. So those are all tools, and food as well, to bring people in that state of joy and pleasantness. And then from that state, they can create joy and pleasantness into the world. So you see what happens? It's like we invite people to stand in their power instead of being dependent on us. So what we don't want is people depending on us. So what we want to create a world where everybody is responsible for their own emotions, for their own feelings, for their own choices. So then we create a very responsible world, right? And for us, for example, food, we use food as a medium or as a tool to bring people together, because it's in a sense it's a very universal language. Everybody understands it. It's always peace at the table. And then from there, we can inspire them to bring own action into their life. So for example, we make very beautiful food, but not making it very technically very beautiful, but more like, well, this is what nature created. And my mission as a chef is only to transform it into a dish. And then this is my act of love. So you can eat that love. So this is how I view food. You know, it's all energy. So I look at the lens of love. I create something from love and I serve it to you so you can eat it and you feel love. So I believe and I know that I create a sustainable world because I'm self-sustainable.
I think it makes sense. It's when you say that, it very much makes sense, because I think it comes from the love that you have for what you do, that you put towards the outside, and that people can receive it. And I think when you are able to actually receive it and be present about it, that's where we can actually contribute to other and have a sense also for giving back. And I think it comes back to also what you said at the beginning, is the service of giving.
Exactly.
And I think from the energy that you get back, that this is what makes you even more do it.
Exactly. So it lights me up when I give you a dish and I see you enjoying it. So then in the act of giving to you, I receive back immediately, and that fills me up. So I don't even need money for that. I just get your energy back by the energy that I give you. So it's a rotation. It's a circle, right? So, and this is how I see the world. Everything is in circles. So if we create a circle of lack, what comes back is lack. It's also the saying, like, what comes around goes around, right? So, so this is also what happens into our life, in our relationships, in our in our world, like in everything. This is just a universal law. Is the law of karma, you know? It's like what you send out, you get back. It's that simple. But you have to be aware of what you're sending out, because most of the people are unaware of what they're sending out, and then they are very surprised of what they get. So
but
that's
it's
why,
actually from the energy that they are giving initially, and this is how they're getting back.
yeah.
We have to kind of also wrap up because we have 1 minute before 1.
Okay.
But I want to kind of say, I want to link it back quickly to what does Edwin can also apply for purpose-led professional, because when we are able to give to others through our work, they can also understand the passion and love that we put in this. With that, I want to really say thank you for everyone that joined. I hope you're also are able to maybe feel the intention that you set yourself from the meditation exercise. Without further ado, I also want to maybe invite you for our next Impact from Home. Next week, we have on the 25th, we have Impact from Home 26 on sustainable impact with data. That's all from my side. So I want to wish you all a very great day ahead.
Yeah, thank you also from our side for inviting us and putting out the stage for us, because we really loved it. And yeah, if you want to know more about us, just go to the website, www.themorningbreakfast.com. Our social media is all the same.
Sunday.
Yeah, and Sunday we have a little session. You can all find it on the website. There are still some spots. Feel welcome.
Thank
And
you so much.
thank you, Chloe. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Good day.